All right, all right, all right. We back at it again. Hey, hey. Welcome to the Loyalty and Friends Self Love Podcast. Of course, it is your host, Loyalty, as always. So good to see y'all, man. I miss y'all. I miss y'all. So hopefully y'all doing amazing, fabulous. Make sure y'all keep inviting people. Make sure you also like, comment, and subscribe, man, because we want to get the subscribers up so we can have a bigger platform to tell your story, okay? And if you want someone to tell your story, make sure you go to my link, of course, and connect with me, all right? I would be honored to tell your story, okay? And who else, man? I am the vibe. You want me to tell your story, I promise you, okay? So we have Queen Love in the building. Yes, my sister Queen Love, my wave sister. Hey, shout out to the wave community. But yes, my wave sister is in the building today. And it is an honor to get to know her. And we've been knowing each other for a couple of weeks, but I feel like this is the most I've known you now. And I just have a newfound respect for you and just your movement, what you're doing. And man, I love it. So I want to kind of dive a little bit into your childhood. If you all missed the first part of it, okay, I do encourage you to go watch it on Instagram. She just kind of gave a brief introduction. She has a great community called Be Nice. So yes, go tap in so you can hear more. But I want to dive into her childhood a little bit, okay? So I want you to kind of talk about that, like what type of environment you grew up in. Was it a two-parent household? Did you have live with one parent? Like, what was the dynamics? And are you the youngest, oldest sibling? Do you have any siblings? Like, let's talk about it.
Well, I grew up in a single mom household. I am the sibling of seven. I am in the middle.
Mm. Somewhere in the middle.
I have two above me and four under me. I'm slap dab in the middle.
Right.
hmm I have
Mm.
two big brothers, two little brothers, and two little sisters.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But growing up, I've always been more of the mom figure than the big sister figure because at 6 years old, I was actually raped by one of my cousins, and I was raped for a whole entire year before anybody found out. And once everybody found out, I told my mom, I was like, nope, no more babysitters. I stepped up and learned how to cook and clean and do hair. And from that moment on, I was like the second mom at home because I wasn't
Mm.
gonna let the same thing happen to my little sister. So from
Right.
that moment on, I literally became a full blown grown woman. Childhood was no longer an option. I just didn't even know what being a kid was. So I literally learned how to, like I said, cook, clean, and focus on school. And I became a straight A student. I was in the National Honor Society. I had awards signed by Bill Clinton, and I was in
Oh, wow.
ROTC, and I was a mediator for the whole entire school. And I was like a real book nerd. Like I'm talking about full blown nerd. Like when I wasn't at school, I was at the library till the library closed. Like
Oh, wow. And
so, yeah. So I
man,
really didn't have too many friends growing up because I got bullied and picked on. Yeah. So I was more of just a loner, and then I went from all these different stages of like I went through the goth stage where I wore all black and people thought I worshiped the devil and did witchcraft.
oh
Then I went
man.
from
Oh,
yeah, then I went from being like a full blown tomboy where I thought I was an actual boy because I got big brothers. So I'm talking about the
oh
cornrows, the
wow.
white beards, everything. My mom like, you're not no boy. I went through that stage too. Then I actually went through the game banging and selling drug stages, believe it or not. And I'm not ashamed to say that because I went to jail and got locked up. But thank God I got out and I learned my lesson and I never went back. Yes, I did at 17 years old. I was like,
Man.
I just like, yeah. So I'm like, it's crazy, you know. I'm like, so at this age now, because I'm like, I just turned 39 in June, and I'm like, I don't live the whole lifetime at
Ooh,
such a young age.
84,
So I'm like,
baby.
even
Period. 84.
so I'm like, I just know that when I was younger, I did so much at a young age. So by the time I became 17, I was already in a mindset where I'm like, okay, all that going to the club and partying and hanging in the streets, oh, that's over with now. So now I got two jobs and got focused, and, just that's all I've been doing ever since. Now, just anything the right path, motivate and stay out of trouble and do good wholesome stuff now, you know. So I just had to turn the tables around.
Mhm. So you was young, you was experiencing life, on to see how much you can get away with. You know, we go through those growing pains, I would say, but of course, because you experienced it at such a young age, and thank God nothing major happened. It could have been worse, but you survived it. You survived it, so thank
Hmm.
God for that. But okay, so let's talk about. I want to talk about your son because I know your son is a big reason that you do a lot of the things you do, and your significant partner who passed away. He's deceased now, and it was his idea to even start this movement with Be Nice, which I think is amazing. We have to. Be more nice and show more acts of kindness and love because love conquers a multitude of sin. I'm a true believer in that. So the more we love people, through whatever they're going through, you have better results. So, pregnancy wise, did you know prior to that he could have possibly been on the spectrum, or did you have a normal pregnancy? What did that look like?
Well, now that is another thing too. Josiah wasn't born with autism, which is another crazy thing because a lot of people that I've met since he got diagnosed, their kids was born with autism, and um that's a lot of the difference between my story and theirs. My son wasn't born with autism. I believe that immunization shots is what gave my son autism because Josiah used to be, according to this world and society, used to be a regular normal child. Josiah used to go to the bathroom, he used to talk, he used to wear clothes, everything. And then when I tell people that, "Oh, are you serious?" I'm like, "Yeah." So imagine how I feel as his mom. Like, we're sitting here having a conversation one day, and now my son doesn't talk at all. He like make noises like an animal in the wild. Like, could you even imagine? Like,
Mm,
so I'm like, even he going to the bathroom one day, then the next day he's playing in his feces and he's smearing it all over himself and all over the wall, but nobody can tell me nothing. Like, something is not right, So
mm,
even before I had my son, like I always wanted kids. I'm like, when it comes to kids, I'm like a nut when it comes to kids because I love children. So I've always wanted kids and I've always babysitted everybody else's kids. I can remember at one time it could be like 20 kids in my house and I would not care because I'm always the auntie. I'm always the cool babysitter with all the toys and all the games and all the snacks and all the Disney movies you can think of.
mm.
You know what I'm saying? So I
Right.
just remember all of my brothers and sisters having kids before me, and I would always be babysitting their kids. And even my brother would always be like, "Man, you're gonna always and forever be the babysitter." And I'm like, "Whatever, like that's not funny." I'm like, "Cause I really wanted the baby." So in my mind, I had made up in my mind, of course, from me being raped and different stuff. I was like, "Okay, I just can't have any kids because I had been with the same guy all the way from high school. Like, we moved in our place together. Like, I've been with him years and I was having unprotected sex. So in my mind, I really believed that I couldn't have any kids. So then fast forward when I get pregnant with my son, Josiah, from the moment I found out I was pregnant, I was like one of those women see in the movies. Like, I was like everything straight by the book. I went about all those books, what to expect when you're pregnant. I'm watching all the movies. I'm going to every appointment. I'm taking all my vitamins. I done changed my
Mm-hmm.
diet. I'm talking about I don't eat anything, no caffeine and no sweets. And I'm talking about I'm just like to the point where even when I go to my appointments, like the nurses and the doctors would want to come and talk to me and they want to introduce me to other parents. And even when I go in the health department, I was like a celebrity, like because I was just like so crazy when it came to my pregnancy. I didn't want to do anything wrong. So
Right.
even when Josiah was born, like Josiah was so advanced and I breastfed him for the whole entire year. Like, so even when he first started doing stuff that the average child wouldn't do, by the age of 10 months, Josiah was already using the bathroom. He was already walking. He was already talking. I mean, it was like I said, but it's because I was constantly on him. So I'm like, even when we go in and out the room, I'm like, light on, light off, and let him turn the light switch on, and he would do that. So like even now, he constantly flicking on like off the light switch because that's familiar to him. He
Right.
remembered doing that as a child. So it's like one day I just started noticing his vocabulary getting smaller and smaller, and I started noticing him doing different things like flapping his arms or peeling paint off the wall, and I would bring it to his pediatrician attention, and I'm like, something is not right. And she was like, "No, that's normal." I'm like, "In who world? I ain't never seen no child doing that. That ain't normal in my world where I
Right.
come from." I'm
So
like,
you said
"So
he
no."
started off talking. He used to talk like he was forming words the whole nine at one point.
Yeah, I'm talking about
And
having whole sentences with me. Like, my little brother name is Isaac. Isaac is not the easiest name for adults to say, let alone a child that's under the age of 1. But when my brother and sister was living with me, because they're like my kids also, I raised them, they were going to school. And my son, when Isaac would get on the school bus, my son would be like, Mommy, Isaac go to school? I say, yes, baby. Isaac go to school. Isaac come home. He say, Mommy, Isaac come home? I say, yes, baby. Isaac come home. Now, for him to say that, and he's not even one, like, come on now. So you can't tell me
Right.
nothing is not wrong when I see my son vocabulary go from 20 words to no words to now it's sounds and noises where he's going to the bathroom, he's going to the potty, and now he's not using the bathroom at all. He's playing his feces to the point where he smears it on the wall and on himself and everything else. And when I go to give my son any type of affection, he clawing, scratching, and biting me. No, this is not normal. Something is not right. He's not gonna keep telling me something is not right. But the crazy part, it wasn't just his pediatrician, it was everybody I talked to. I'm talking about my family,
Now,
my friends, his dad.
let me
Like
ask you this:
nobody would believe me. Everybody was like, ain't nothing
how
wrong
old
with
was
him. You just
he?
need to whoop him.
How old was he when you started to see this change? Like when the change started to occur?
He was
How old was
18 months. And
he?
his pediatrician did not give me a referral until he was 2 years old. And by the time he was two, he was completely nonverbal.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow. So fast forward, like, and once he became nonverbal, because you kept giving him the warnings, you letting him know, like, hey, something is not right. My son is not verbalizing certain things, like, and we know, who knows their children better than anybody. As a mother, you're gonna know your kids. And I can definitely concur to that. So, what did the doctor say once he became nonverbal? What was there?
Well, again, it was up until, like I said, when he became 2 years old, that's when his pediatrician finally gave me a referral to this place called the Marcus Institute, which is for autistic kids. But up until he was two, she would not give me a referral, which I didn't understand. So by the time she gave me a referral, I just feel like, even though I got a diagnosis, it was like it was a little too far gone by this point. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
it is what it is at this point. So, but when I went to the Marcus Institution, from the moment I walked in there, they gave me a big package of questions. What?
Mm-hmm.
What? What's wrong? What?
Oh, that's your son.
Yep, that's my daddy first. What you want?
Oh,
Come on, you gotta get up and show me. Come on, come on. Want a popsicle? All right, I'm gonna eat. But yeah, so
how
from the
old is
moment I
how
walked
old is he
into the
now,
Marcus,
Queen Love?
huh?
How old is he now?
He'll be 12 in October, October the
Okay.
19th.
Hey, Patricia. Yes, we can see you.
So
Hey.
when I went to the Marcus Institute, the day that I went in there, they gave me like a big package of questions I had to answer. And the package probably was like that thick. And all the questions
Mhm.
in there was yes and no questions. And it was crazy, but believe it or not, every single question the answer was yes. So the moment I walked out of that place, it was like a weight was lifted off of me. You know what I'm saying? And I knew, because I knew I went crazy. Like you said, as a mom, we always know. I was like, I know it's something wrong with my son. I don't care what nobody say. So I just was not giving up until I finally got him diagnosed. And it was crazy because there's a program called Babies Can't Wait, and they help you with getting your kids diagnosed. And she came to my house, and the day she came to my house and talked to me, she was like, "Man, I'm gonna tell you something." She said, "I'm not supposed to tell you this." She said, "But honey, your son got full blown autism." She said, "What I need you to do is go to that Social Security office and apply for your son's check, and then put your son on that waiting list at the Marcus Institute." And she said, "By the time your son get diagnosed, you gonna already have that check." And with the Marcus Institute, they put your kids on a waiting list, and the waiting list can be up to a year long. But like with
Wow.
anything, people fail to realize, just like with the job, if you show them that you're serious, they're going to give you that job. Just like with the Market Institute. My son was on that list, and people saying that it can take up for a year for your child to get seen. The devil is a lie. I call
Right.
that every single day. I had people that
Mm.
I didn't even know, total strangers. I'd be like, "Look, excuse me, can I give you this number? What, can you do me a favor when you're not busy? I need you to
Right.
call this number. And when you call this number, just ask them is Josiah name on the list and hang up." I'm like, and
Right.
everybody I knew was doing it. So by the time, I want to say, a couple of months passed, my son had got on that list and got diagnosed. And the lady who worked for Babies Can't Wait, she was like, honey, I don't know what it is about you, but you must be blessed because I ain't never seen nobody get their child diagnosed that quick. I said, because you ain't never met a
Mm.
determined mom like me. And then even when she came
Absolutely.
in my house, like now, of course, because I know my son, like now I know everything from every noise of whether he wants something to eat or he's hurt or he's hungry,
Yeah.
his phone is dead. But before, when he first
Absolutely.
got diagnosed, I didn't know what my son wanted or needed when he be hollering and screaming. So I had to label everything in my house from the floors to the walls to the cabinets to
Oh wow.
I had put stop signs on the front of my door so he knew that that meant to stop not to go out the door and stuff. And the lady walked in my house and she was like, excuse me. She was like, who told you to do this? And I was like, nobody. I was like, I just had to figure out how to communicate with my son.
How to
And
care
she
for
was
your
like, do you mind
son.
if I say, um,
You need to figure out how to care for your son. Like that's important.
yeah.
He
And
still
she
got
was
to eat.
like,
He still need things, right?
yeah. She was like, you mind if I take pictures of this stuff? Because I need to show this to all my other parents. She was like, because
Mm.
this is the initiative that all parents should be trying to take. She was like, I've never met a parent like you before in my life. She was like, most parents are in denial and they be like, there's nothing wrong with my child, or they put them in institutions or daycare. She was like, but the fact that you just embrace it and you're so loving and so caring and so understanding, you want to know about it. I was like, because that's me. That's a part of me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And that's
why
your
would I deny
son,
me?
right? Queen Love, you got any links that you want us to support? If you can put them in that chat, we can actually take them like to your actual profile. Do you have a specific link you want support for?
You said a link?
Yeah, like a social media link.
Oh, I'm gonna say other than I'm gonna say probably just what Facebook and Instagram.
Your Facebook and your Instagram. Okay.
Okay.
Um. Okay. Let's see. So we should be able to put in if you could put that in a private chat, man. But man, your story is very compelling. I just want to say that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
There we go. Yeah, your story is very compelling. It's very compelling, and I like that you're explaining that because a lot of times it's like if you don't advocate for your children, they'll sit here and do everything. They'll sit here and give them all types of whatever. So
Right, and now I
you
don't
have
give my
to.
daughter anything because a lot of parents don't know that we have the right to refuse those shots. But I didn't know that back then. But my daughter, she has not had a shot since the day she been born. She didn't even get one at the hospital. And if I knew what I knew now, my son would have had one. And there's a
Mm,
form online that you can actually get printed out and get notarized, and you have the right to refuse these shots. So I have a whole stack of those forms that I carry around with me when I advocate for autistic people and let people know that you don't have to get those shots. Because a lot of people don't know that. They think you have to by law because if they don't tell you, you don't know, because they don't tell
true.
us that. They're not gonna tell us that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm so happy that you advocated for your son in that way because a lot of times think about how many of our children slip through the cracks. And parents don't know how to advocate for their child or they just give up so easily. And that's like, dang, like had they got help maybe prior to it, the situation maybe wouldn't have been as bad. And don't even know that there's resources out here that can potentially help them. So I appreciate you just for sharing it. So let's talk a little bit more about the Be Nice movement because I really love your movement and I want to figure out a way we can help you get that back started. I think it would be helpful for your daughter, in her journey. Because I know that can be challenging because being the sibling of a child that's on the spectrum, and I can see people teasing her brother and her having feeling like she always got to defend him. Cause I'm that big sister. I'm protective of my brothers and sisters. So I already know. Don't talk about it. Don't say nothing if you don't want me to get involved. So I could definitely see that continuously being an inspiration for her. So I want to be very intentional. Of course, once I get my paperwork, if I can partner with you and we can get out here and get some funding, I'm all for it. We're going to figure it out, because I think we have to continue to spread those type of messages and really, support those who need it. So man, ooh, I love your story, though. I love your story. And then I heard your son in the background. I'm like, wow, you such a loving mom. So you just got the two, your son and your daughter.
Well, I only have two that I actually gave birth to, but Angel and Josiah's. actual father that helped make them, that I'm actually still legally married to. Angel mate number 9, believe it or not, girl, and I got grandbabies and everything.
Oh Lord. Oh
Right.
yeah, you gotta do, but
So
you love the baby, so I get it. I may have to
yeah,
send
so
Essence over there to
yeah,
come
Angel mate
play.
number 9 out of, with me and my husband, we got 9 together, but after me and my husband separated, my fiance, the one who just passed away, he has 2 older children, so I have 2 more stepchildren that of course I still claim. And um now I have a friend staying with me, and I call her 2 sons my sons too, because she's like my sister wife. So I'm like, everybody kids is my kids, really, but hence Mama B. So
Right. Yeah, so I want to thank you, okay? Also, you all, I want you all to come because we're going to have a question and answer session. Her story was very compelling. We talked a little bit about her childhood. She shared with us that she was in the middle of them 7 siblings, okay? So she's somewhere. You have 7 siblings, so it's 8 of y'all total. Let me make sure I'm
no,
here.
it's 7 of us total.
It's 7. So she's somewhere in the middle of the 7 siblings. Of course, she grew up with her mom. That's the one thing I do want to ask you before we get out, because we got 4 minutes to go over to Clubhouse. So, what was your relationship with your father? Because I did you spoke briefly about your mom, but you never mentioned your father.
Okay, now that's another crazy story. My mom has 7 kids and asked me, how is it possible that all 6 of my siblings know their father? I'm the only one that don't know my dad. No picture, no name, no nothing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And what mama say? Mama gotta know
Honey,
something.
I literally said, I asked my mom about it one day, and it was like, she was like a deer caught in headlights. Like, she didn't say absolutely nothing. So then I was like, "Ma, you know what?" I said, "It don't even matter." I said, "Because at the end of the day, I'm not taking nothing away from you. You an amazing mom." I said, "And I'm an amazing child." I said, "And I've been good all these years without one, and I'm gonna continue to be good." And I've never asked her anything else about it, because I said I just figured that's just a part of her life. Either she chooses to forget it wasn't a good memory, because she's never told me anything about it. She's never mentioned it, and I'm just like, so I just left it at that.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh. Well, shout out to Mama for being a mama and daddy. That's what it looks like. But you didn't skip a beat, and obviously she did an amazing job by raising you, instilling amazing values and principles, and just the love, man. Because I can just see it through your story, and I thank you just for being vulnerable and transparent. I wanted to go a little deeper, so we're going to have to probably have a part 2. We'll give it a couple months, let some time go by, get the Be Nice movement back on the road so we can come back and share some testimonies with the people. So make sure you all follow her, of course, Love Dyer, and that's LOVEDYER on all her social media platforms, except for Instagram. She is Miss Chica, okay? And you said it's MS.CHICA. Is that correct? Did I get it right? That's you over there. Z. Z. But yes, indeed, y'all. So make sure y'all follow, and join us on Clubhouse for Q&A. You can come on, you can ask questions, of course, and tap in with Mama B. We'll be on there for about 30 minutes. We want to kind of keep it limited because I do want to be respectful of her time. But if you have any questions you want to ask, join us at 8 p.m. in the Loyalty and Friends house on Clubhouse, okay? So any last words before we get up out of here, boo? Any last words, Queen Love?
No, everyone just be safe out there, because it's crazy right now. And again, just keep smiling. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like, hey, it's a lot of people that can't right now. So as long as we can, y'all better do
All right. And on that note, we're going to conclude this. We will see y'all on the next Friday on the Loyalty and Friends Self Love Podcast. Until next time, bye, y'all. See y'all on Clubhouse. All right. Click that
it.
last link to go to the Clubhouse room. Click the last link.
Okay.
All right.